On December 7th, 1941, Japan, like its infamous Axis partners, struck first and declared war afterwards. Costly to our Navy was the loss of war vessels, airplanes, and equipment, but more costly to Japan was the effectiveness of its foul attack in immediately unifying America in its determination to fight and win the war thrust upon it, and to win the peace that will follow.
A lot of those veterans, they're gone now. So how important is it for the following generations to keep this day dear and near to our hearts?
That's one of the things that I strive to do here in my position, is to keep educating our younger generations on the importance of our history. And you were correct in our previous conversations about, sometimes Americans nowadays have short-term memory. And you could see that after 9/11. There were, a run of American flags. You couldn't find them anyplace. Everybody in your neighborhood had an American flag. And then, a month or two later, that kind of fizzled out. But we had untold number of dead. There were reports of approximately 70 million worldwide that died as a result of conflicts during World War II.
The once mighty Arizona now rests on Pearl Harbor's muddy bottom, a pitiful relic of its former self, a grim monument to the treachery of Japan.
We also have to remember the huge injustice to our Jewish members with the loss of 6 million Jewish families during the Holocaust. And then as well on our home front, which I don't think we've really come to terms with fully yet, is the Japanese American internment camps. So there were approximately 120,000 families that were corralled up and held in internment camps throughout World War II, just for their affiliation.
Yeah, that seems to be a blot on FDR's record. One of his darker moments with the Japanese internment camps on the West Coast. Now, before December 7th, we were a pretty divided nation. You had people who said we have to get into the European theater,
sure,
and get rid of the Third Reich. You had the isolationists during the Great Depression. So, it wasn't unified in the 30s during the Great Depression. However, after December 7th, this country really came together in not only the European theater, obviously, but the Pacific theater, and also stateside. You had a lot of companies doing the three shifts. You had Rosie the Riveter. You had women working in factories at all hours of the day. And that's just something we haven't seen in this country since.
It's surprising that we were fighting two wars in Afghanistan and Iraq. And really pretty much, unless you knew a family member that was serving, or a relative, friend, for the most part, people didn't really have that connection with a military family. So, people could go about their day-to-day activities, go to Starbucks, Dunkin' Donuts, get their coffee. And there was no real sense of sacrifice like you saw in the World War II era.
You're well aware that this generation has been known as the greatest generation. Do you feel as though that's hyperbole? Every generation has their testing periods, but these people went through the Great Depression and then went right from the Great Depression to a horrific war, one of the worst wars in human history. In your estimation, are they the greatest generation?
Without a doubt.
Yeah, I agree.
There's everybody says, well, without that generation, we could be speaking German or Japanese. And that really, I believe that would be the case. They sacrificed, everyone sacrificed. It was, around the world. And there was just so much sacrifice and willingness to serve and support the mission, which we've never seen since then.